Hi everyone, welcome to Social Learning World. Today we are going to discuss NCERT 8th Standard History 3rd lesson Ruling the Countryside. The East India Company started as traders but gradually acquired new territories and established its firm control over the administration. In this chapter, we'll learn more about the administrative machinery of the colonial state in India. The British brought about widespread changes in the field of land revenue system, agriculture, trade and industry in India. These policies were obviously designed to promote British interest in colonial India. On 12th August 1765, the Mughal Emperor appointed the East India Company as the Diwan of Bengal. As Diwan, the company became the chief financial administrator of the territory under its control. Now it had to think of administering the land and organizing its revenue resources. A trading company had also to ensure that it could buy the products it needed and sell what it wanted. Company also realized that it had to move with some caution. Being a foreign power, it needed to specify those who in the past had ruled the countryside and enjoyed authority and prestige. In this chapter, we'll see how the company came to colonize the countryside, organize revenue resources, redefine the rights of people and produce the crops it wanted. The company had become the Diwan, but it still saw itself primarily as a trader. The effort was to increase the revenue as much as it could and buy fine cotton and silk cloth as cheaply as possible. Soon it was clear that Bengal economy was facing a deep crisis. Artisans were deserting villages since they were being forced to sell their goods to the company at low prices. Peasants were unable to pay the land revenue. Artisanal production was in decline and agricultural cultivation showed signs of collapse. In 1770, a terrible famine killed 10 million people in Bengal. About 1/3 of the population was wiped out. If the economy was in ruin, how could the company be certain of its revenue income? The primary motive of the British was to collect revenue from land. However, that could not be achieved without a viable land revenue collection system. So, the British introduced 3 different types of land revenue settlements in different parts of India. We can see these different types of settlement. Zamindari system or permanent settlement of Bengal, Raitwari system or Raitwari settlement and Mahalwari system. These are the 3 settlements introduced by British. Zamindari system or permanent settlement of Bengal, Raitwari system and Mahalwari system. So let's see what is permanent settlement. The permanent settlement was introduced by Lord Cornwallis in Bengal in 1793. Permanent settlement was introduced by Lord Cornwallis in 1793. The zamindars were made the owners of the land. They worked as agents of the government in collecting the land revenue. The land revenue was fixed for 10 years on a permanent basis. The zamindars were given hereditary rights of the zamindari. So what is permanent settlement? The permanent settlement is also known as Permanent Settlement of Bengal. It was an agreement between the English East India Company and Bengal landlords. Lord Cornwallis was the Governor General of India when the permanent settlement was introduced. By the terms of the settlement, the Rajas and Talukdars were recognized as zamindars. They were asked to collect rent from the peasants and pay revenue to the company. The amount to be paid was fixed permanently, that is, it was not to be increased ever in future. Now let's see the economic consequences of the permanent settlement. It created a new class of landlords in the form of zamindars who became the political allies of the British. It also provided financial security to the zamindars. Taxes were often collected by oppressive methods. Many of the wastelands and forests became cultivable. So there were a new class of people were there, that is zamindars. Zamindars were the intermediary between peasant and British. They collected revenue from peasant and they given to British. They were the intermediaries. So new class of people emerged, that is landlords or zamindars. So it provided financial security to the zamindars. Taxes were often collected by oppressive methods. But permanent settlement created some problems. What were the problems? Company officials discovered that zamindars were not investing in the improvement of land. The revenue that had been fixed was so high that the zamindars found it difficult to pay. Anyone who failed to pay revenue lost its zamindari rights. By the first half of the 19th century, the cultivation expanded and prices in the market rose. The income of the zamindars increased, but no gain for the company, since it could not increase a revenue demand that had been fixed permanently. By 19th century, cultivation expanded and prices in the market rose. Income of the zamindars increased, but no gain for the company. Company did not get more profit because revenue was fixed permanently, so they could not increase the revenue demand. So a new system was devised. What is that system? That is called the Mahalwari system. What is Mahalwari system? The Mahalwari system was a modified version of the zamindari settlement introduced in the Ganga Valley, the northwest province, parts of central India and Punjab. By the early 19th century, many of the company officials were convinced that the system of revenue had to be changed again. In the northwestern provinces of Bengal Presidency, Hort Mackenzie devised a new system which came to effect in 1822. It was called Mahalwari settlement. Mahalwari settlement was a modified version of zamindari settlement. So in the Mahalwari system, a settlement was made with a group of villages collectively called Mahal. That is why it came to be known as Mahalwari system. It was devised by Lord Hort Mackenzie in 1822. The land in these villages belonged to the village community, which was jointly responsible for the payment of land revenue. The revenue was to be revised periodically, not permanently fixed. Not like a permanent settlement, in Mahalwari system, the revenue was to be revised periodically. It was not permanently fixed. The charge of collecting the land revenue and paying it to the company was given to the village headman. The land in these villages belonged to the village community, which was jointly responsible for the payment of land revenue. The revenue was to be revised periodically, not permanently fixed. The charge of collecting the revenue and paying it to company was given to village headman. This is called Mahalwari settlement. Now let's see what is Rayatwari settlement or Rayatwari system. The Rayatwari system of land revenue was introduced in the Madras Presidency by Thomas Munro during 1820 to 27. There were no zamindars or other intermediaries with whom the settlement could be carried out. It produced more revenue than any other system. Right to vary system. What is right to vary system? Right means cultivator. So it was introduced in the Madras Presidency by Thomas Munro. The right to vary system of land revenue was introduced in the Madras Presidency by Thomas Munro during 1820 to 27. That is why it is also called Munro system. What is the specialty here? There were no zamindars or intermediary between cultivator and British. In right to vary system, right means cultivator. Cultivator directly paying tax to British. There was no intermediary like zamindars. So there were no zamindars in right to vary system. The settlements had to be made directly with the cultivator or rights who had tilled the land for generations. What were the limitations of this system? Driven by the desire to increase the income from land revenue, officials fixed too high a revenue demand. Peasants were unable to pay. Riots fled the countryside and villages became deserted in many regions. The right had to pay revenue even when his produce was partially or wholly destroyed by natural calamities such as drought or flood. These were the limitations of the system, or limitations of right to vary system. So British fixed revenue too high. Revenue demand was too high. Peasants were not able to pay the revenue. They fled the countryside and villages became deserted in many regions. Then riots had to pay revenue even when his produce was partially or wholly destroyed by natural calamities such as drought or flood. Now, in next video, we'll see the second part of this lesson, ruling the countryside. Till then, bye.